The Scituate Reservoir, the water source of more than 60% of Rhode Island, is just seen as any other body of water. But this isn't just any body of water, yet the story of a struggle, an engineering marvel, and the heart of Rhode Island. In this short documentary, Flooded but Not Forgotten, the untold story of the Scituate Reservoir. The town of Scituate was settled in 1710 by colonists from Scituate, Massachusetts. The town of Scituate was officially incorporated on the 20th of February, 1731, when the lands were separated from Providence. The first town meeting was held by the elected moderator, Stephen Hopkins. Hopkins moved up in government positions and later became Rhode Island governor. Hopkins went on to support American independence and was Rhode Island's representative in the Continental Congresses. Hopkins gained fame in the summer of 1776 when he signed the Declaration of Independence. At the time, the boundaries of Scituate engulfed parts of present-day Foster. The boundaries of the town were fixed to the current border in 1781. As the Scituate population grew, so did the need for jobs. Several factories and villages housing their employees started popping up. Among these villages were Ashland, Clayville, Elmdale, Fiskville, Glenrock, Haversdale, Jackson, Kent, Ponagansett, Potterville, Richmond, Rockland, Saundersville, and South Scituate. Scituate wasn't the only area with a booming population. The ever-increasing Providence population was amassing to greater amounts every day. With this growing population, a reliable pure water source was needed. So on Friday, the 9th of April, 1915, the Rhode Island General Assembly voted to seize 14,800 acres of Scituate land. This meant the destruction of over 6 villages that families called home. The newly established Providence Water Supply Board began condemning the Scituate residents' lands by eminent domain, or the right of a government or its agents to expropriate private property for public use with payment or compensation. This day is known throughout the Scituate community as Black Friday. As plans for the reservoir began, PWSB employees were regular sights in the villages, as the employees were charged with the compensation given to the Scituate residents for their land. These men in black, as the town folk referred to them as, were required to take photos of every structure in the condemned area. By 1920, the $20 million construction of the reservoir was well underway, and 1,195 buildings were destroyed in the construction of the reservoir. These buildings included 375 houses, 233 barns, 30 dairy farms, 11 ice houses, 7 schools, 6 churches, 6 mills, numerous post offices, taverns, general stores, fire stations, wheelwright shops, a blacksmith, and the Providence and Danielson Electric Railway, connecting rural Scituate to urban areas. Along with 36 miles of roads were abandoned and approximately 4,000 to 5,000 deceased bodies were excavated and moved to cemeteries outside the condemned area. The individuals of these properties didn't have the decision to move, and either left peacefully with compensation or forcefully, like one resident who held PWSB employees at gunpoint, and others who burned these homes in revolt and protest. One of the employees was Edwin F. Carey, whose responsibility was to inform these residents that their homes were to be evicted. Some of these homeowners were offered lower than market prices for their properties and had small leeway in negotiations. In some circumstances, individuals with more power were offered higher payments, like Henry A. Grimwood, who served on the Providence City Council, Accounts showed his payments totaled $4,500, while his neighbor, Sarah Bernier, was offered no higher than $1,700. The 5 villages which were completely lost were the villages of Rockland, Ashland, South Scituate, Kent, and Richmond. Today, the Gaynor Memorial Dam sits on top of the Kent Village site. Also, the village of Ashland resides beneath the Scituate Reservoir Causeway, RI Route 14, or Plainfield Pike. On the 10th of November, 1925, the construction of the dam was complete, and the reservoir began filling. In September of 1926, after over a year of filling later and close to a decade of construction and planning, on the 30th of September, the Philip J. Hulton Water Purification Works building was in operation. The old water supply, which came from the Patuxent River in Cranston, was switched off, and the new purified water was being supplied to the residents of Greater Providence. However, all this history isn't lost, and in times of drought, old building foundations and property lines become visible. Today, the Providence Water Supply Board owns and operates all of the Scituate Reservoir lands and purification of its waters. Also, the department today doesn't only provide water to the city of Providence, yet its surrounding cities. Today, the PWSB has kept impeccable records of the reservoir's history, stories, and struggles of the Scituate residents. The reservoir is seen as the source of Rhode Island's water. However, now you know the true story of the Scituate Reservoir.